And up next now, let's talk about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. So,
Sure.
Ricardo, if you don't mind, I want you to do like just like a brief run through of what this show is about. But yeah, we covered the first episode. We enjoyed it for what it was. We had nitpicks about the animation when it came to She-Hulk herself. We'll
Right.
talk about the animation itself, right? But yeah, Ricardo, take it away, man. She-Hulk to the Law, season one.
Yeah, Jennifer Walters, lawyer, millennial. She
Yes.
got into a gamma ray accident. And then in the wrong conditions, she study. She get an accident with her cousin, and then what to do with respect to her powers. She decided to like just be herself instead of like catering to the Hulk. Yeah, because Bruce Banner has his own drama. As I say, lawyer, millennial. She's a monster, misunderstood. I'm angry. You won't like me when I'm angry, and she have to deal with internet trolls and deal with all of the other key conceits, other conceits of the world of being She-Hulk. The mere fact that she's called She-Hulk. And I thought the series was not that bad. It could have been better. We should they punch up some of the humor a little more. I don't know if I mentioned this in the first couple of episodes, but I felt it was the show it was remind me of most actually is not so much Ali McBeal or Boston Legal, but more comparable to Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. And
All
I
right.
don't
Well,
know,
well, you're not mentioning this, so you don't
right,
have the chance to can explain what you mean.
right, and
But
I
I
don't know,
kind of see what you mean into the meta aspect of it, kind
right,
of.
right. And yeah, there's a more insane world how you deal with insane nonsense in a court of law. And I really felt we should have gotten more law stuff, like law court of law. So we didn't really get on till the ending. The last well, you should say the second to last episode, I thought a really solid courtroom drama stuff. And well, because of a certain guest star. Yeah, and that is what they make it work for it is. But I felt they could have done more with it. It just needed a punch up. I didn't hate this. I thought it was fine actually overall. But I really felt because I don't know if it's because of the new Rick and Morty season. Um, but I really felt that the humor should have been punched up because the new Rick and Morty season is going amazing for me. And I,
Oh, it is. It is. It is. Yeah.
yeah. But with this now, it's just humor. I don't know if it's because of the length and they needed to they could have crunched down and make the episodes a little more streamlined. But as it is, I enjoyed it for what it is. Well, we had to talk about the last two episodes. I the two most notable episodes in my opinion.
Oh, of
Um,
course. Of course. We will. We will. Yeah.
right. But yeah, overall, it's a decent show. I didn't again just mention before we get into mention like the final two episodes. Um, solid show for what it is. It's you know not not the worst. Like the CD, I'll say the only thing that was my major complaint was really the CGI, and that a lot of that was mostly forgivable. I think coming on to the end especially, because like they at least I don't know if they put all the money in there or they decide to work on it and let it render a little later, so because they had the extra time. I don't know, but it wasn't so bad for what it is. Well, we had to talk about the final two episodes. Second to last episode, guest starred Mark Murdock, and he
Mm-hmm.
was pretty
Mm-hmm.
awesome. We get the
Yes.
classic gold and red outfit. They make the joke the mustard, the mustard and ketchup outfit,
Must catch up. Yeah.
right? But yeah, look, the man coming in proper form, Judd. Great chemistry with that Maslany. Um, you know, didn't expect it to be as enjoyable as that was in terms of their back and forth. They have him be less realistic, so he's more comparable to Spider-Man, which I don't have a problem with. Actually, make a lot of sense to be honest. Um, and yeah, I just had so much enjoyable fun with it. I didn't have any major problems or issues with it as it is. And yeah, that was great. And they would make fun of the hallway fight, which I liked. All of them things I enjoyed. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I had a ton of fun with that episode. And then well, the final episode itself, whilst it's not the worst idea, it's straight up from the comic. Like we know this straight up from the comic, but I really felt they could have punched this up a little better. They just did it, and it was just a joke. They just did it, but the joke was just there. They didn't really do anything with it other than the conceit. If you're not familiar with She-Hulk and the comics and what they do with that, then it's like, oh shit, all right, that is a big deal. But like for me, who was expecting it at some point, thought they would have done it a little earlier, but I was expecting it eventually. It's fine for what it is. It's a funny enough comedy beat, and well, we had to get into the details of this now.
Yeah, yeah, we will definitely, right? But that's just to share my overall thoughts on the show, right? I had fun with this. I
Yeah,
enjoyed this. I wished personally that it was a lot better in terms of just its overall execution. But for what it is, I think that it works. I like the fact that it's the most meta of the Phase 4 MCU TV
right,
shows. I think probably the most one of, if not the most meta show we've gotten out of the MCU thus far, right?
right,
And I like that aspect. I think for me that is like the big takeaway from this, right? How meta it is, right? Because yeah, it touches on the fact of, oh, we're doing She-Hulk. Oh my God, why are we doing She-Hulk for? I think that's like the running gag in all of this, right? Why we doing She-Hulk, right? Because yeah, they touch, and one thing I really have to give credit with to the show for is the emphasis on social media. Because yeah, I mean this is basically the MCU's opportunity to say, you know what, yeah, we are aware of all the bullshit all they talk about from since like what Captain Marvel and onwards, like why we have why we put all these female superheroes front and center and yada 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 and wokeness and all that kind of stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah, She-Hulk is just that vehicle for them to really explore that, right? Um, Tatiana Maslany from beginning to end, she is great, just
right,
charisma, just in speed. I just love the on screen. She shines as both Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk, right? I'm gonna talk about the VFX in a bit, right? Actually, I even like her friends as well too. Whether it's oh gosh, Gonzaga who plays Nikki
right,
Ramos. She's a great I would say buddy. And yeah, that's just the back and forth between the two of them are great, right?
yeah,
Even Pug as well too. Even though like he was just that swami guy, but I like that they actually kind of give him a role and purpose in it as well too. Not just to be swami or just talk shit about women and whatnot, right? They actually make it work, right? Um, I was a little on the fence of, Tim Roth, as in Emil Blonsky's inclusion in this, but they actually make that work as well too, right? I like that it also relates to, well, the Incredible Hulk movie and him kind of feeling like, that happened, what happened in Harlem happened, but I'm trying to move on with my life, right?
yeah,
And in particular, I really do love how it, connects to, Jennifer's journey, right? Where it's like, about acceptance and you know what, I am both this character and this monster as well too. That's really why I think that the Abomination is in this show. Yes,
yeah,
I'm both Emil and Abomination. So yes, Jennifer, you could be that and She-Hulk, right?
right,
And they touch on it on really, really clever ways as well too, right? Whether it's her trying to get a date, right, and her
right,
using this dating app, and she tried it with Jennifer, but it didn't work. So she tried with She-Hulk, and that worked. And but more guys was attracted to She-Hulk more than Jennifer. I just love how they play on that, right? Everything, well, I should say a majority of stuff that's referenced or put into this doesn't feel tacked on. It feels like it's all purposeful. It's all meant to kind of explore this character, and which I like. From the very beginning, says, I don't want to be a superhero, but kind of through some circumstances end up becoming a hero herself, right? And that's why I really appreciate, the inclusion of Matt Murdock, right? At first, I was like, all right, we're bringing him in the second to last episode. Why? You know what I mean? But yeah, when he comes in, it works. I love the chemistry between Charlie Cox and Tatiana at this point though, and yeah, it kind of makes sense that they hook up. It really really makes sense when you think about it, right? Like on paper, you think, well, of course, but now how you see it played out, yes, it totally works, right? Also, I don't know if I have a feeling that these characters, I would say these I would say superpowered individuals that show up. I feel that they are like 2 tier and 4 tier Marvel characters. So case in point, that second to last episode with Leapfrog, I think that he's an actual Marvel Comics character, right? If I'm not mistaken.
what's that?
Leapfrog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but that character Leapfrog is so funny in my opinion. Though it's like the MCU's version of Kick-Ass. That's the best way I can describe it. Somebody who
right,
think, okay, if I have the tech and I have moves and I have a cool suit and I have a name and a good catchphrase, I could be a crime fighter. But he just normally gets his ass washed too. I love this slight spoiler how. There's a moment where he just jumps through a window, okay, just thinking he could escape the enemy, he had a break in his leg. That had me in stitches. I love that, right?
yeah,
Though I do like how the show touches on sexism and whatnot, right? Especially in social media, right? I do like the idea of this group of like incels called what is by intelligentsia. Like I
Right,
like
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I
I
like
think
that, right?
the website is something like a 4chan or what was the name of this website? It's another website I got taken down recently. Kiwi Farms, I think. Kiwi Farms, I think so. It's that. Is
Oh
that? Is
yeah,
effectively
yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I like that aspect of about it though. I was actually surprised that they actually touch well briefly, but they actually touch on slut shaming though. That actually caught me
Right.
by surprise too, like how
Yeah.
they brought that up, and it really made for a really really emotional moment I must say involving Jennifer herself, right? But yeah, but I do like that the villain is actually these individuals who just don't like the fact that this particular woman, even though she's related to the Hulk, oh my God, she has Hulk's powers. I don't like that, right? And
Right.
even better too is the name she Hulk herself, like how she says she doesn't like that.
Yeah.
The media call her that, and it's
I
actually a
thought
pretty great
guys
episode
don't right.
involving
Is
Titania,
that- right.
Wallace.
I thought that was a missed opportunity. I thought that was a missed opportunity because I thought like they could have do a gag where like she tried out other female names. So
Oh,
like something like that now they could have be like, oh well she woman Hulk and she her yeah her Hulk or Hulk or something like that now. Like you're gonna do gags with that. I don't know.
oh, I
That's
mean,
just
like play with gender pronouns or politically, try to
whatever.
be
But the
all
point is,
politically correct.
she get to pick a name since with Titania take it, and then that don't work out or backfire on her in some way. Now. Like they could play with that now. Like call her I don't know like woman Hulk or she like well she Hulk is too demeaning. Let me go with Hulk or some dumb shit like that. Now they could have make it I don't know like I just felt they could have just it is a missed opportunity with jokes now. Like it had space to make the joke and they just leave it empty too much empty space. Like it needed more I don't feel like I've ever term connective tissue in that sense. That's
Right,
what
right.
yeah. And I say this because I get a feeling either the episodes be shorter or you fill it up with more jokes now. I don't know. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And speaking of Titania though, as much as she made for a really great antagonist towards Jennifer,
Yeah,
especially with that bit where she copyrighted the name She-Hulk, right? Which I thought was a really really clever move, right? Um, she didn't really come off that much of a villain
exactly.
per se though. She was
Yeah,
just
they're
like
already
more
doing
like,
things.
all right, me, you just keep getting in my way. I'm gonna punch you, and never so often. And it just kind of ends with she just getting hit in the face and one of she teeth come out or whatnot, and that's the joke. And well, it's not like that's the last that we see of her, but I felt we could have gotten more out of her. She could have really been a more formidable villain instead of like, oh, you're just in my way, let me just hit you, and then
Right.
you have like a little guilt fight or whatever, right? Um, Before we get to that final episode, just to touch on the VFX, right? What I will say is like, if how the best way to describe it, I would say 70 to 75% of it looks really, really, really great, right? Like stellar,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But then there's that 25% that is just kind of take you out of it. So I
Right.
would say, like, I was watching it again and like looking closely, right? And no, I am not the type of person that is going to be studying this show or each episode shot by shot. I will tell you, well, this is what looks off and this is what should be fixed and this is no, 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 no. I will leave that to some other YouTuber to do that shit, not me, right? I would say the moments where she have her head down, she looks really great, like fantastic in my opinion, right?
Well, what I noticed is that when she actually like it might have been some of it might have been intentional because I noticed when she got her proper suit from the guy, it started
Yes.
looking fine. But again, I just think it just chalked up to it just had more time to render. That's what I think it is. Like the final episodes, they had more time to render it. That's it. Like because they have the more face and they have more time with it. They just make it work because it really look okay in the last couple of episodes. I wasn't noticing anything. It's only that first episode or so. But when
Mm.
when her clothes looking more fitted, which again is part of it because she kind of walking kind of weird now because she was wearing effectively a large man's clothes when she didn't have an outfit now. And then when she get her outfit, well, both the fighting outfit and the her lawyer wear from the guy to a properly fitted suit. She looked good. She looked fine. And I think it's just the rendering and stubble and what should look on her face. Like I think if they made an effort to have more like slight wrinkles or have her face look a little less smooth or I don't know, get some like
Well, or you mean
patchiness,
like add more contours to well,
right,
I
or
think it's
something like
contours,
that.
right?
Like
Yeah, to her face.
well, like you see how Tatiana Maslany's faces look blushed all the time.
Hmm.
They cannot make it look like that because she had just this plain smooth green face now.
Hmm.
Whilst with
Hmm.
when Bruce Banner is yeah he has stubble and he has you know, little small details to make it look like it better. That's
Right.
about it. So
Yeah.
that's the only issue about it as it is. Nothing else as a conceit. Because again, it looked fine at the end. I don't know.
Yeah.
It start off weak, but at the end it looked fine. It's just
Yeah.
minor quibbles ultimately.
Well, good point in terms of like just the contours on the face. That's actually a good point, right?
Yeah.
I was more just watching just how the feet, just how just how the face herself looks, right? I would like just cueing, just like quoting, just kind of referencing one moment, right? That I thought where like just her with the hair down the grate, right? That's where she was with that one guy who was really attracted to her because she was just She-Hulk. So there's a moment where he's on the couch and like she kind of
Right.
jumps like she's leaning forward towards him. Like just
Yeah.
how that looks, I thought that looked great in my opinion, right? When she has the hair up, in my opinion, that's usually when she's in the office and there's more
Right.
emphasis on the neck and the work clothes and whatnot. That's where you kind of go into a little bit of uncanny valley, especially when she talks, right? There's like most moments, like when you're watching, like I'm more watching like the mouth and the eyes and whatnot, right? It looks almost like yes, it is Tatiana who's talking here, right? But like oftentimes it kind of looks like yeah, it looks like a CG character talking here, and it's even worse though when you see her moving around real environments and all that kind of stuff. You're supposed to buy into that, right? But yeah, I mean, like I say, like 75% of it looks great though, but there is that extra 25% that, like I say, could have used some extra rendering, right?
Right.
Um, and before we get to that final episode, but the one thing that I will take away from this show as well is the ways how it's go to piss like it purposefully goes out of its way to piss the people who like the moment they heard that this was going to like She-Hulk, the show itself was going to be greenlit,
Right.
sorry, was hating on it like
Right.
instantly, right? Case in point, episode 3, that's the one episode that everybody remember just mainly because of the outro with Megan Thee Stallion and that twerking
Right.
scene, right?
Right.
Um, I think that scene is brilliant, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. I
But I
think
like
it
how
funny enough. Yeah.
yeah, it's funny and it doesn't
Yeah.
even last long. That's the beauty of it all. That,
Yeah. Exactly.
but it's how like people on social media went nuts, like
Yeah. God.
saying, "Oh, is this the direction of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is this where we've reached now? What?" I just like that they just did that on purpose, just to fuck with those same individuals who would not have even liked the show anyway, right? They just saw a trailer, thought it was garbage, and they just came, did that scene, and said, no, we actually like doing something really cool here now, but y'all still want to hate cool. Let me show you this, right? So I just love that aspect about it. I think it works, right?
Right.
And this is where we get to the final episode, boy, right? So I like that this episode more than anything else addresses that. It addresses the whole okay, people who just don't like don't want to give this who still kind of treated the show like if it's nothing, right? So you know um here's where She-Hulk just basically breaks the fourth wall in more ways than one, and this kind of kind of like calling out the MCU itself in a way for her inclusion in all of this, right? Points for the Kevin robot. I thought that was a really smart idea.
Right.
And the
Right.
moment that they kept saying Kevin, Kevin,
Again,
Kevin, I
it's
know that
it's
they was
it
going to
kind
stick to
of
that.
again it kind of funny. Like
Yeah.
it kind of funny.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but also like the fact that they bring up Marvel Studios Assemble, I thought that was smart too because,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, for people like me, I would be waiting for Assemble to come out so I could see how they make this show, right? Even though I know the little the little the writer studio there, if you will, like I know the actors or whatnot, but whatever, right? But point again, that is this, right? I was loving how it was breaking that wall by the fourth wall, right? How they incorporate Disney Plus, how they incorporate
Right. Yeah.
Marvel Studios and
You're right.
Kevin Feige and how they reference all that, right? I love where it was going. I love how it all started up with why we having all these characters show up, why we having the main
You're right.
the main founder of intelligentsia shoot
Busy guy.
himself up with Hulk's blood and all
Right.
that
Right.
stuff
Right.
makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, I was watching this like what no, the moment when Abomination came in, I was like, wait, what the hell going on, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
like that Jennifer
But that's the
was
thing.
self-aware to say, yo,
They
what the hell is going on,
but
right?
that's the thing. They still went forward with it as a plot conceit, right? Because he was still arrested at the end, and you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know,
Which
like
I'll get to. Yeah.
right. And I think like I didn't get the sense that he was working for them. Like he just was paid. Like I didn't get he knew what they were really. So that's why he was
No,
so
no.
shocked. That's why he was so
Yeah.
shocked when he saw like you don't know who they were. Like he was just like, oh, he just
Yeah,
paid.
he's
To
a
watch out.
motivational speaker. That's
Right.
that's
Right.
that's his side hustle. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was liking all that stuff, Trent. And then like when she actually goes into Marvel Studios and talk to Kevin and all that kind of stuff, I was loving all that, right? And then it got back to the real world and ended the story. And here I just felt like it was just rush through that whole like last 5-10 minutes, where just run through everything pretty quickly. They didn't give moments time to breathe. They just had an opportunity to just end this show off at a stellar note and just say, well, we have 5 more minutes again. Let me just run through everything, right? So yeah, about Emil got arrested again. Okay, me and the other was a couple. All right, cool.
Right.
I introduced them to more folks. Okay, Hulk show up and like here he comes with his son horse, and there was such a
Right.
great moment there where they could say, oh, well, that explains why the Sakar or whatever the ship show up in the first place, right?
Yeah.
But here you could touch on the fact that, oh well, Hulk was hiding from the public eye for so long, and now he has a son, so now he
Well, he went.
kind of have a
Well,
opportunity to kind of get his life back on track. But no, they just show, hey, that's my son. Cut to
well, no,
next
I
scene.
know. He went to thing. We saw him in space flying towards, well, presumably Sakana.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, but what I mean, it's just the idea of I have a son now. What does this mean for me
right.
now going forward? It's just
So yeah,
I have a
again,
son.
this is where the meta thing just be halfway. Like again, I thought you see the thing with meta is that, yeah, I don't know. In my personal opinion, again, I know people don't like him and people just knock him for this, but to me, you have to Nolanize it. You have to incorporate it into the world and have it make sense still. And in the beginning, like when they did that opening to the episode where they made an allusion to the old ET's TV show, but it was a
Oh,
dream.
love that, by the way.
Love
I,
that.
I, I love that. I love that. That
Right.
that that get massive points. Essentially,
Yeah.
what it is, folks. If you haven't seen it, yeah, they reference the old Incredible Hulk, but they make it a
Right.
She-Hulk version of it.
The Bill
Mad
Bixby
points for
TV
that.
show.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bill Bixby TV show. Right. Uh but it was a dream, and they cut it into the dream. I thought that was clever. That's simple. But then they decided to just make it straight meta. And now when they say, oh well, we're gonna find that out in the movie, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, they're basically saying we're not gonna explain it. Like again, it kind of funny, but because they're not really punching up the humor and it is coming across, it's really come across lazy and halfway now. Like
Right.
on the fence about it. Like on the one end, yes, they do the shit in the comic with She-Hulk, and She-Hulk is the one character you could kind of get away with this bullshit. Fine, right? She-Hulk doing this stuff before Deadpool existed. Like, I'm not pulling them up on this, but I don't know. Still, they should have like make a half of effort to fill it up and make it make sense. I don't know. Halfway on it. Like I don't hate it,
Yeah.
but I still
I,
on the fence about it. It's
right.
is damned if you do, damned if you don't, one way or the other. I'll say, but to me, you could square it and incorporate it, and they could have make a better effort in halfway it. Like again, like how they made the intro a dream. I thought that was clever. Like
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it is explaining the situation as it is, but doing it in this funny way. I don't know.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
lastly, before I get to Rita now, and even like just that last moment where she pretty much tells you, well, yeah, I'm still gonna be a lawyer. I'm still gonna be doing my stuff, during the day to day. But you know if the opportunity arises, yes, I will be She-Hulk and I will save the day, right? I like that, right?
yeah,
But again, they just rush that quickly. They just play some music and then they jump into I don't want to say obscure, but yeah, a Missy Elliott song that I think a lot of
yeah,
people should give you
yeah,
should really check out. In my opinion, is not one of her most popular songs, but I think like the use of that song was pretty great. But yeah, just how they rush that last 5 minutes to I felt it just kind of undermined all the big meta setup that we got here. But it really could have ended on a strong note, right?
yeah,
But despite that, though, I will say yes, this is one of, if not the most meta thing that we've gotten from the MCU.
yeah. Right.
For those who still think that the MCU just kind of spinning the wheels, nah. I mean, look at this, right? I like that it is purposefully designed to just piss people, or I should say, the people who was hated on the show from day one and just done just to piss them off. But
Yeah,
nah, if you just kind of forget the whole internet hate and, oh, why are we doing this and the VFX and blah blah blah. Nah, there's actually some intelligent, yes, I mean intelligence, yes, it's haha, right? But yeah, there's some really like smart, intelligent writing in all of this too. I like
yeah,
how, even though it is an episodic show, it is not like how we the other series that we got before pretty much was telling like one full story. This one feels the most episodic, but even like the little bits and pieces of character moments and developments and little story arcs and whatnot, they all kind of connect in their own way though, and I thought that totally worked, right? I think that everybody committed, everybody did a great job, especially Tatiana. I mean, she carries this show on her shoulders, and she did a great job with this man, but I just felt that they really could have come through with a much stronger end, man. And we could they set it up real good, man. And it's like,
Right.
this kind of drop the ball, man. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, written wise, I'm gonna give this decent, strong 3.5 out of 5, man. I think that it is worth checking out, right? I would say that if nothing that we've said, throughout this really like, spark your interest in watching this, then yeah, don't even bother, right? It's gonna have its audience, right? I just love the fact also too that it also caters, well, not just a mostly female audience, but yeah, especially to those who just kind of lost in the MCU, just kind of don't know where things are at. And so
Right.
they can just watch a show, and the show itself kind of pokes fun at that too. So I love that aspect about it, right? Yeah, you can't knock the MCU for doing something different. They did something different here. It's just, again, I just wish they came through with that finale, man. It really could have come through there. But yeah, this was good for what it was, man. Liked it, didn't love it, but yeah, this was entertaining stuff, man. So yeah, final thoughts on rating.
Yeah. For me, as I said, it just needed to punch up a little bit again. But with like a show like Harvey Birdman, I think the episodes was like really short, like what 10 minutes long or whatever. So you had like you just and they used to pack that with jokes and humor. So and this just felt like a watered down Harvey Birdman. Not that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you had to if you're going to flesh it out, you had to flesh it out. And I felt it 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 needed to fill up more time. That is all I'll say. Either have the episode shorter or fill it up. Yeah, and that's all I always felt about it as it is. I can't be mad at anything in terms of thing. I don't really get into any of the controversies or any other drama because mostly it is internet idiots, making noise and yelling into the void. So I just kind of ignore that aspect of it. But
Oh,
yeah,
and speaking of that though, they like lost their shit with our final episode. They flat out. Or I'd say I can't speak for everybody, but I know a lot of people hated that final episode, man.
I know I
The
could
meta
imagine.
aspect of it in particular.
I can imagine somebody hating that and ending, to be honest, like it because it does feel cop outish, right? Because that's the thing, they kind of have the cake and eat it too, no, with respect to comment. They're doing a sort of, when as I say, if you're referencing the thing, but you don't address the thing, yes, it's still a problem. Like just because you're referencing, don't say anything. Like you have to address it properly, and they don't really do that. Like they make all the jokes and they mention the X-Men and all that bullshit, right? And they mention the MCU and the
Yeah,
daddy issues, and like it's fine. Like I get you do these jokes, but it still just was too low effort on that level. That's all I'll say. I'm glad they did it, but they needed to punch it up a little bit. That's all I'll say about that. Rating 7 out of 10. I just felt they could have just punched this up a little better, but it is good in the right direction. And if they could, again, I'm saying because I think I spoiled because of Rick and Morty, this season, but they needed to pack in the humor a lot more and have it like this, drop in a sort of humor beats now. And again, I don't know if it's fair to compare it to Harvey Birdman, but yeah, Harvey Birdman just used to be dropping humor and jokes right through now, and I just had that speed to it now. A working comparison I could say is something like it kind of come too late, and it's actually pretty good for what it is. But I like to compare it to something like Borat 2, right?
huh? Okay.
Borat 2, Borat 2 is, in my opinion, Borat 2 is I won't say I like it, but Borat 2 I think is better than Borat 1. But Borat 2, because the joke, we are already accustomed to the joke, and we are accustomed to the conceit, and accustomed to the premise and all of that after about 15 some odd years after the first one came out. Because it take this long to come out, you kind of don't care. Because I already know what the joke is, I know what to expect. My mind already in the space. So you're not surprised I'm in any interesting or workable way. So when they do this big meta thing, it's like, yeah, I see this before. I see this before in so many different ways. I see this before. And so it does feel like, something that was done before. But like if you're new to the material, all right, that kind of interesting, I suppose. Maybe. That's how it felt. Borat 2 is good, but because Borat 2 does nothing conceit-wise that is new, you're kind of just underwhelmed by it. Even though it is, like, by all working accounts, a better show. But it should be a better show than it is, not a better show than what was. If you understand my point. That is trying to explain that to the best of my ability.
Hmm.
That's how
I get what you mean. Yeah.
you're right, and that's how I feel about this. Like it is something that, because the type of humor has been done, or at least exposed to me as a thing. I'm not that old, but old enough. It has been exposed to me for the better part of 20 years, and for this to come now and still doing this type of humor, it just feel like kind of workably dated kind of approach to the meta. That's how I feel about it. It's not bad, eh? It's just they needed to punch it up a little bit. That's all I say. We'll see if they're making a season 2. We'll see. Well, and it's a little interesting things going forward because, like, well, the big news is, something verified of a big rumor is that Harrison Ford is going to be replacing William Hurt as General Ross, right? All I wanted him to bring back Sam Elliott, however. But yeah, they actually recast for General Ross, right? Meaning that we're more than likely going to get a Red Hulk going forward in some type of Hulk, World War Hulk something. So they hinted at Scar. They hinting at, well, she have her powers. They're bringing that forward. Yeah, they do the meta thing as a kind of cop out, but whatever, that in the comic.
One,
so
and even in the last episode, she does mention Red Hulk. She does mention it.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, as a kind of working joke, but yeah, but that's what General Ross's character is, as it is. Yeah, and so if we're gonna get Hulk stuff going forward, we will see. And then by the time I think the contract is gonna be up in 2025. So by then the movie will be ready, and they could do it without any big problem aspect of that. So yeah, I've just felt they could have done this better. I didn't hate it, but I felt they could have done this better. They could have punched it up. As I say, I usually would punch up a lot, but that's pretty much my mindset and attitude about it, as it is. Yeah, rating 7 out of 10. Right? It's a decent enough comedy beat as it was for that final episode, but I really felt they could have punched up the material more. That's about it.
All right, cool.